Hello, good evening. Gary Champion, psychic medium, once again. I don't know if you've noticed, but around the country there's a new wave of banning books. I guess it was popular when I was a kid too. You couldn't get certain books in the library. Holy crap! That was a big orb. Went by pretty quick, didn't it? I'm just covered in orbs lately. I must say it's wonderful. You should film yourself. Maybe you'll see some around you. Boy, boy, interesting things in the world. And okay, that's a good example. Orbs. What do they represent? Why are they around us? They're spirits, and a lot of the ones I have around me are children. I don't know why. I think it has something to do with something in the future I'm supposed to do with um, perhaps relieving pain from cancer in children or something, as a healer. Anyway, why are we all of a sudden banning books? Hitler did that. It's a unique little tool to getting to power. Look, I'm saving your children from these horrible things, these terrible ideas of freedom. And then he promptly locked up every intellectual in the country, and they sent them to those camps where they killed them, exterminated them. And by the way, he sent gypsies and anybody gay or unusual. He's wiping everybody out. Didn't work out too well for him, though. But we can't get those people back he's killed. Russia's done it to great success. What are they afraid of? China. Sometimes there's countries that take down the internet, restricting access to information. People who think in terms of running a country as a monarchy, they always hate information being disseminated. We who are democratic, the more information you have about something, the better off you are, I think. And it's not just pornography. They're saying it's pornography, but that's just an excuse to ban books. Every kid's got access to the internet. Where do they think pornography lives? You can see sex acts. You can see anything discussing LGBT. Murdering. Everything's available on the internet. That may be next. You see how it works. We'll ban books because we're protecting your children. This is Republican right, or just the right. They don't have to be Republicans. Democrats can be on the right too. Conservative thinkers. What's the point? We have the dumbest governor here in Texas. Here, I said it out loud. He must be the dumbest man in the world. He's instructed the Texas Education Agency to investigate potential crimes related to the availability of pornography in schools. Well, that isn't what they do. They don't have any policing ability. But you see, they take something they want and they hand it to an agency not set up to do it, and in order to get them to do it, which makes them legally culpable. It's like saying, come on, let's take back the country. Let's go to the Capitol and storm the Capitol and take back the country. That's incitement to riot. It's illegal. Donald Trump put that on his followers. And they went in there and did that, and a lot of them are going to jail. He's not going to jail for it because he wasn't there. But he incited people to do it. So when you get other people to do your bidding, you make them culpable. You make them legally responsible. Interesting. They want to do it, but they don't want to do it. They want somebody else to ban books. I remember when they banned one of those girly magazines, And he had the money to take it to the Supreme Court, and he won. First Amendment rights to free speech. Plus, those magazines aren't even around anymore, because you can see full video of people having sex on the internet, day and night. People get addicted to it. Whew, more orbs. They must like what I'm saying. What they want to do is restrict anybody different, anybody that's not white, anybody that doesn't have their conservative values. That's what they want to do, which is not what our society's about. Our society's about freedom to be who you are. We embrace diversity. Diversity is a good thing. Or certain organizations don't embrace diversity. They think their way is the only way, and that's just not true. There's 1,000 ways to do something. Which one is right? The one that you want to use. They're concerned about critical race theory ending up in books, saying that race is systemic, and the far right doesn't believe it is. It's isolated incidents. I don't believe that's true. I believe it's long been in all of our institutions. We were talking about it the other day. There's a company that I'm not going to say their name. I doubt that I know their name, but there are no people of color working there. And we were discussing it. And someone said, "Well, they don't have any. All white." Racism exists, and I'm not saying they don't have the right to do that. They have the right to hire who they want to hire. It's not a public company; it's a private company. They can do anything they want to do. I embrace their desire to do that, but also I want to see diversity. Racism, LGBT, sexuality. They just want there to be a man and a woman. We're way past that. We're way past that. I don't know how many different ways humans are now. All fully acceptable. Why? Because the common denominator is love, not the physicality of someone. If you really love someone, that's the basis of a relationship, and nothing else matters. Love is a key ingredient. You remove it, you don't have much. LGBT, racism, sexuality. Should there be limits on free speech? I don't know. There already is a limit on free speech. When you yell something that causes someone to get hurt, then you're responsible. You can't yell fire in a theater. That's the old adage. Because people get trampled, making you responsible. This rap star down in Houston who incited people to get crazy, and like 8 people are dead. He's responsible. He incited it. You want to incite people to take over the Capitol and change the country and take back the thing? Anybody that dies, you're responsible. Person that did the inciting, in my opinion, and legally. And being a president there's no immunity there. There have been limits on free speech. Hateful speech is outlawed. You can go to jail for telling someone you're going to harm them in some way. I forget what they call that. Terroristic threat, that's what it's called. You make a threat against someone out loud, you can go to jail for it. Whether you carry it out or not. It's illegal now to do that. So there are limits on free speech. Sexuality, good luck with that. Good luck with banning that and putting limits on it. You may be able to do it in a school. Ha ha ha. Well, you go down to a bookstore and buy the very same book, or just go online. You can download the book electronically if you want to read it. You can't limit accessibility to materials. You can't do it. What was that movie years ago, Fahrenheit 451? That was about burning and banning books because the ideas in them were contrary to the current people running the country. There's a great actor. I can't think of his name, but he was pretty good in that. And he turned out to be someone who was taking books out of the homes that he was supposed to burn and keeping them and saving them and passing them on. There was a marvelous movie about called George Orwell, 1984, where Big Brother was always watching. There was an eye. There was an eye in every room, in every place, bathrooms, wherever. They could always constantly be watching it. And that guy fell in love with a woman, and they met at this place and began having relations. It turned out they knew about it all the time. There was a secret eye behind a painting or something. He discovered it, and oh my God, they've got me. And they did. And they punished him for being different. That's what it's been. And that's all these things are. These are just different things. Banning critical race theory, LGBT, sexuality. We're banning thoughts. That's what the idea is. They'll stop writing these books if we ban them. We're censoring people before they. If you can't sell any books that you write, why would you write them? They're hoping to stranglehold the thoughts that these people have. They're legitimate. They come from their experiences in the world. That's why they're writing the book. It's a tell-all, or it's an attempt to explain what's going on. You can't ban thoughts. It's a bad idea. Who's overseeing these people who are going to ban thoughts? Are there people watching them to make sure they're not doing something wrong? I doubt it. There's a senator retiring today. He's 81. He announced he's not going to run for office anymore. Yeah, you're not going to live. You'll be dead before you get out of it. 81. How many times that means he's been reelected? 15 times or something? Stop electing these old geezers that start putting restrictions. And they're not just restricting kids, they're trying to restrict adults. Oh, now that's a different story. You can restrict these kids from seeing all these sex acts, but you start taking my liquor and my guns and my ability to go to a brothel away from me, that's a different story. No, it's the same story. There have to be limits. When people get hurt, then we shouldn't be allowing it. If it's consensual between people, if I want to read a book about anything, I should have the right to do it. Then I can make my own mind up about whether it's something I need to know or something. We cannot know what's going on without the ability to have access to the material. And it shouldn't just be these people up here. Everybody should. We should be able to disseminate information any way we want. And as an adult, you can monitor your child's access to that on the home computer. You can block things. You can do that. But at a certain age, when is it just useless? You can take your phone and go on the internet and see anything you want to see. You don't need a home computer. I always find, when I was a kid, when someone says, don't do that, everybody's going to do it. You're not going to do that. I'm going to ban you from doing that. You shouldn't be able to do that. That's the first thing they're going to go out and do. You've made it exciting. You want to ban a book? Kids are going to go out and read it now. Make that author a millionaire. I'm just saying we need to slow down a little bit. We've gone through cycles of this before. It was a bad idea then. It's a bad idea now. You want to spit on the Constitution? You want to take away people's rights to access to information? You want to be Hitler? You want to be Stalin? This isn't a place. This country's not that place, but we are seeing a lot of it. I doubt that any of it's legal. They can ban this and ban that, but First Amendment rights probably overrule all of it. There's a limit to what you can do in school as an administrator. Just because, we're not wearing masks, we don't need masks. Well, the federal government says you will wear a mask. So you can announce anything you want to. You're elected to, you're getting paid to be a principal or superintendent of a school district. But when you get people killed, that's the harm I'm talking about. You either turn around and go the other way. These people are running for office. Oh, there, I said it. Whew, it's political. Our governor's running for federal office. Guy probably in Florida and all those places that are banning books, and they're on the Trump machine. Ooh, let's get on that wagon. That's the place we want to be. We want to be ultra conservative. No. When you ban thoughts, you ban ideas, we don't move forward as a country. As long as it's not hurting anybody. That's the caveat. We allow the sale of guns to people. They shoot themselves. Well, we wouldn't want to stop that. That'd be a terrible thing, because those gun companies got to make money, and the NRA's got to be able to control this and control that. That's what it's all about money and power. But you can't lock up people's minds. You're kind of wasting your time. It's like watching a duck in the water. He's going round and round and round. He's lost his compass. He just goes round and round and round. Nothing happens as long as that duck's swimming in a circle. As soon as he takes off in a direction, the world changes. He meets another duck. He has sexual relations and has more ducks. He becomes a ducky friend to somebody. Kids come to feed them. The world doesn't change going around in a circle. And that's what these guys are trying to turn the clock back to the 50s. Remember the banning of records? I remember that. Guy took a rock and roll record and broke it, because you could do that then. They were LPs out of Ireland. Broke it, said, and I remember his quote. He said, "Rock and roll has got to go." And they put these records. They ran over them with one of those street machines and burned them. Did everything. Rock and roll's got to go. Yeah, but it didn't. When you ban it, it flourished. Oh, they're twitching their bodies funny. They look like they're having sex. Yeah. Can't ban that either. People are always going to have sex. Be careful who you're hurting, guys. Be careful who you're hurting. It's probably not your constituency. It's probably somebody else. It's like banning abortions. Doing that in Texas, wildly popular with the right, because they're running for office. Does it stop abortions? No, they just move to an alley somewhere where someone can die. And I've always said, you can't stop women from doing what they want to do. You can ban it. You can write all the laws you want. You can make it a hanging offense. It's a woman's right to do with their body whatever they want. As a matter of fact, we have a law in the books saying abortion is legal. Good or bad, whether you're for it or against it. And here's my thought today. Gary's thought of the day. You want to restrict abortions? And these women are going to have these children that they don't want, that they can't afford. Who's going to pay for all that? When they start growing up and they need medical and they need education, they need doctors, and who's going to pay for all that? Because this woman who wanted an abortion can't afford the child. She certainly can't afford the medical or any of that other stuff. Who's going to pay for that? You don't have a plan for that. You just want it stopped because you don't like it. That burden falls on society. Oh my gosh, that means you and I are going to pay for that. The people who didn't want abortions will now be paying for the aftermath. The kids going to school, their tuition, their medical. When you start banning stuff, you have to look at the consequences. You have to look at where it's going. You cannot just what you hate or what you don't like, what you don't believe in. Where is it going? What's the end result of it? Not just here, but it's dominoes. Where does it go? I love that when they say just stop having sex. That'll take care of that. Oh yeah, that's going to happen. I saw that on a bulletin board the other day. Stop having sex. Yeah, very popular. Freedom. That's what we're here for. In this country, we want to have freedom. You start lopping off things, you start telling people they can't do something, you make it wildly popular. Plus, it's not your right to tell somebody what to read. Maybe their parents, as children, can restrict what they read until they get to an age where they can understand it. That's common sense. That makes sense. They're too young to understand it. Why let them read about it? When they are old enough to understand it, yeah. But that's a parent's job. Not a governor's. He's overstepped his bounds. Ours has. And gets my vote for the worst governor ever. Come on, guys. You can't stop time. You can't back up to the 50s where everything was... I'm from the 50s. Boy, was it different then. Everything was sterile. Everybody whispered around kids. No family broke up. We'd have teen suicide. Didn't have alcoholics every 3 feet. There's a price to pay for freedom. There is. Always has been. And freedom comes with a price tag. We've always paid it. You want to turn back time to the 50s? If these jackasses... Oh, did I say that? If these donkeys weren't running for office, they wouldn't be doing all this. They wouldn't. Anyway, I was listening to NPR today in my car, and it said a guy's running for office that I like, and I'm going to vote for him next year, or whenever the next vote comes up. Progressive thinker. That's the thing. If you have a progressive thinker, then everything is possible. Anything can be done. Housing, unemployment, medical, all these things are possible within a budget in the state. When you have conservative people, they start lopping this off and lopping that off. Why? Because they can. Anyway, just thought I'd do a little video about restriction and the consequences and free thinking. I should be free to think the way, the crazy crap that comes in my head all day long. I'm free to think that. You can't stop it. No one's ever tried, I don't think. What's the difference between thinking about something and reading about it? You want to hide sex from kids? I don't think so. It's all over the internet. It's in mainstream movies left and right. And that's for parents to decide. But not for a governor. He's overstepped his bounds. He's in your living room. He's in your bedroom. He wants to be inside the minds of children. That's wrong. Parents guide children. If they deem to ban this book from their child, that's their choice. But at some age, he's going to have access to it, or she. That's why they teach sex ed classes in school. I didn't have that in the 50s. They wouldn't allow that. Just saying the word sex could get you slapped. Now they teach in school. Why? Because they want kids to know what it is and what it can end up as. Where it ends up, being pregnant. Be careful. Be cautious. Not trying to stop them from having sex, because you can't do that, and they've realized it. But give them the information that they can protect themselves with against venereal diseases and all kinds of other things. AIDS. So we have those classes in school to inform people where they can know the possibilities. I think I ran it long enough. The orbs were pretty neat though, weren't they? I've been getting a lot of them lately. It's just a great thing to see. Energetically, when they go by, you can feel it. And this one, right, right by. And the other day, one went right by, and you can feel a little vibration, feel a little energy from them. So I guess that's in my video today. I thank you all for watching it. I appreciate your support. Trying not to anger anybody with my thoughts, but just trying to speak the truth. From my point of view, which is free speech. Gee, right here at the very end, I get something very interesting. You see, I just relaxed. Someone said they'll be closing schools down because there'll be fewer people attending them. Online schools become popular, more popular. They'll be closing schools down. They'll be consolidating. Isn't that interesting? How can you restrict that? That's a thought from a spirit that's been passed. Somebody named Anne. I don't have any spirits that I'm aware of named Anne, but this one is here today. To tell me to tell you something that's interesting. Maybe you need to know that. I can't restrict that from my thought process. I can't say, oh, I won't say that. Oh, I won't say that. When you begin to censor yourself, you're in big trouble, especially in this business. Practically everything I say, I've never heard before. Interesting. They're going to close schools. There won't be enough to attend. It'll become fiscally irresponsible to keep them open. They'll close them down and put a couple together. That'll be controversial. Strictly an economic thing. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.